Hi, how are you? It's Travis in here, and welcome back to our adventures with the Hardcore Warrior.
Hello.
Today we are back in Strangothorn Vale, guys. I know I said I would continue off from last episode, but I decided to take a break.
What are you looking for?
The reason why I decided to take a break, guys, is because the alliance I joined in this phone game last war was in got attacked. So I had to log in and help them. So there's like this Korean clan, and they attacked us. And they're stronger than us because, you know, they swipe their credit card a little bit harder. And I actually quit the game, guys. And I didn't quit the game because of that attack. I quit the game because I didn't like that I had, how it was, consuming my time like that. And it's also pay-to-win trash. I don't like that either. Like most phone games, right? It's called Last War. I saw it on TikTok. And I'm like, this looks kind of interesting. So I played it. It was just like a game where people. Well, there's soldiers, and then there's ×2 or divide by 2, and then you got to pick you go to the ×2 side, and your army gets stronger by 2. But that's not even the game. It's actually a strategic strategy war game, and that's what pulled me in. I thought it was just going to be some fun little game, but that's how they market it. It's marketed as a fun little game, but then you get sucked in to this strategic war game where there's alliances, and it's like a battle for world domination and all that stuff. And I joined a top 5 alliance on my server, and I got addicted to the game for 5 days. Learned everything about it. I was playing well. My alliance I got ranked up in my alliance. I was keeping up. I didn't spend a single dollar. I looked up guides on how to play well, and I was playing pretty good. And I came to the conclusion that this is ridiculous. People can just pay money and get ahead of me. There's no skill involved at that point. There is skill involved in the game, but if somebody can just swipe their credit card and be better than you and just attack you, and you can't do anything about it, then what's the point of even playing? And I know some people are probably laughing at me right now, what, you never played a phone game before, man? That's how they are, most of them. I've heard Clash of Clans is a bit better than that. It's not really like that. But I'm kind of a noob to phone games. And what pulled me into it was I was just playing the game, and there was a little voiceover that sounded like the siege tank from StarCraft. I think I talked about this. And then I started talking in the world chat, and then I found this guy in an alliance. I asked him to join. I joined this alliance. It ended up being a top 5 alliance on the server. Each alliance has 100 people in it. There's a max of 100. And then you fight over territory, and certain spots certain land gives you 5% to gold production, 5% to iron production, stuff to advance your base and your army and stuff like that. So I got kind of sucked into it. And I didn't spend any money. I'm going to be a free-to-play guy, see how it is. If it's a good game, maybe I'll spend a little bit of money. But it ended up being the game's complete junk. So I quit playing it. The main reason why I quit playing was because it's pay to win. And I realized I can't keep up no matter how well I play. And then the second reason was because it was taking up my time. I would so that you say you're building a building, it takes 7 hours to upgrade this building. Say it's a barracks. Before I would go to bed, I would make sure before I went to sleep, I would make sure I get like a building that took a while to build while I was sleeping. And then when I woke up, I just start production on the next building. And that's ridiculous. You know what I mean? And there's a weird feeling of like trying to keep up with everybody in your alliance. And I was like one of the bottom people at like 90. So I was rank 90, and my base was like rank at 9 is like in 90 to 100 in my alliance. But I was donating. I was like top 30 in donations, donating to the alliance, and I was top 30 in kills. So I was attacking other players, and I was kicking their ass. But the thing is, the reason why I was able to kick their ass is because I was in a top 5 alliance. They weren't. So I could attack them, but they wouldn't attack me, because if they attack me, then they're just going to get wrecked. Which is another lame thing about the game. You attack the wrong person. You know, if you're not in like a top 5 alliance, like you kind of just... You're pretty much food for everybody else. But yeah, I quit the game. You're better off like for games like that. You're better off playing like Civilization, you know, or Rust. I know Rust isn't really like that, but it's a shooter that's sort of like that. We gotta watch out here. See what we can pull. Just want to see how this goes. Oh, we actually pulled one at a time. Yeah, I hope you guys are doing well today. I apologize for even talking about that game. I hope none of you guys are playing it. And if you are, I hope you've seen the light before I did. And I hope you didn't spend any money. Because that's how they suck people in. You know, there's a sunk cost fallacy that goes on with that game. Where, you know, if you sink in time and especially money. Okay, that's 2. We're not doing that. Then you kind of get sucked in. You're like, you know what? I'm just going to keep playing. You know, I've sunk in all this time, energy, and also my own money. So I'm not going to quit. I'm in for the long haul. I didn't get to that point, but I was getting close. And there's people called whales on that server. So what whales are, it's like a crypto term, and it's pretty, that's where I first heard the word whale. It's just someone who has a lot of money, and they dump a lot of money into, you know, either a coin or in the game term, into the game. So there aren't, like, a whale usually has like one of the strongest, you know, armies on the server. And if you're in a top 5 alliance, the reason why your alliance is probably top 5 is because you have a whale, you know, in your alliance. A guy spending thousands of dollars to have an advantage over others. I don't want to do this. You don't have a food buff. I could probably do it, but I wonder if I keep running. Yeah. We'll go over here. But yeah, so my alliance had a whale. The strongest whale was with the Koreans. They had like a couple whales, but the strongest army, like person in the game, was on that squad. And they attacked us, and we had to like move because, you know, they're just spending more money. I thought that was so dumb. I'm like, and then I realized, like, how am I going to catch up to the people in my alliance who just spend money, right? You just can't. That's why I gave up. It just seems silly. And there's no like skill at all. Like in the fighting. Like if somebody attacks you, it's sort of like Civilization, where the army just attacks the city. If your army's strong enough, it takes it down. So there isn't really skill there. You know, I just got to swipe my credit card, and then I can beat you. So yeah, I kind of I quit. And yeah, some people spend like 50K on like trying to be the strongest on the server. There's supposedly people who've spent hundreds of thousands. I don't know if this is true, but I've read on Reddit like some people go into pretty like huge credit card debt to try to be the strongest on these servers, which is crazy. So the game caters to people who want to pay to win like insane amounts of money just to be the strongest on a server. And that's just not fun. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you're not good at the game. You're just good at swiping your credit card. Oh, we should get this guy before he gets a little too close. He's probably too close right now. Yeah, two. Two? Only two. Think we're okay? Get him down. There you go. That's one. Yeah, I like those kinds of games. I think if the game was subscription based, like I know the game has to make money. But if it was subscription based instead of, like pay to win. Like if people just had to pay a monthly subscription, the thing is they probably make way more money from just people spending, tens of thousands of dollars, and that's why they do it that way. But if it was subscription based, it's a fun game. Like the game's fun if you like those like war strategy kind of games, but it's just lame how pay to win it is. But I'm happy I found that out in like 2 to 3 days instead of a month later. Well, I got too deep into it. Yeah, watch out if you play a phone game and avoid Last War. Avoid that game. Don't recommend it. Yeah, it's crazy. The world's getting a little crazy. Don't usually like talk about stuff like this, but it is getting kind of weird. France pulled up to Canada with a nuclear submarine recently. Now, I don't think America's going to attack Canada, but that's a weird move, man. I honestly think that would be like. That'd be terrible for it gets you thinking about stuff like that. Like that could honestly start World War III, or not World War III, but that could be the end of the West. That's for sure. I think it would be, and maybe the end of America being the superpower of the world. I think. Because I think Europe would probably get involved and try to help Canada. I know Canada can't, go toe-to-toe with the United States. Like, I see that a lot on the internet, like people saying, oh, yeah, like America would wipe out Canada. I know not all Americans say that, but Yeah, that's obvious. You guys have 10 times more people. You know, economy's 10 times ours as well. We have like 40 million here. It's like over 300 million, almost 400 million in the States. But I don't think that'll happen. And if any Canadians like wanted to be like fight the United States, I'd be totally against them, man. Because that's the end of like I kind of look at that as the end of like the way of life I've been living my whole life. You know, it's the right. It's brutal. Kind of reminds me of like it could be like, and the reason why I say it's like the beginning of World War III is because the beginning of World War II was in 1939 September when Germany attacked Poland, and Britain and France had a treaty with Poland that if, you know, Germany attacks Poland, we will defend you. So they did. And then that brought in Canada and the Commonwealth, other Commonwealth countries, you know, like New Zealand, Australia. And everybody joined. That's what started World War II. And that might happen if, like, you know, the United States attacks Canada, you know, Britain joins Canada, France joins Canada. It's like the same thing. Sounds like. I'm not saying America's going to do that. I don't think that's going to happen. It's ridiculous. And then what happened, you know, like what during World War II, like, you know, those countries fought for 1939, 1940, 1941. And then, you know, in December 1942, America gets attacked Pearl Harbor. And America was a part of World War II. You know, they were providing arms, but they weren't really, like, a part of the war. But that got them to join. And then in 1945, it ended. You know, after, you know, Russia took down Germany, and then America did, you know, the nuke on Hiroshima. And then after that, after, you know, the world changed after that. America became the world power. And why do you think they became the world power? Because they weren't involved in the war like everybody else was for 2.5 years. So while their, like, economy was growing, you know, the world was taking hits. And then that makes me think, like, what would happen, like, if Europe and America, Europe, Canada, and Europe was defending Canada. I think China would just sit back, right? And then China would probably become the world power, or they would join later on, sort of like. But I don't know. United States is pretty damn strong, but. That's not going to happen, but it's just a hypothetical. Because there are people who, like, talk about it on the internet. And there's like groups of Americans that I find annoying, and there's also groups of Canadians I find annoying too that talk about this America-Canada tariff stuff. The Canadian ones are the Canadians that are like, that think like living in Canada is like 10 times better than living in the United States. It's just not true. You know, they love to say the word free healthcare. Our healthcare isn't free. We pay taxes for it. Our taxes are around like 8 to 10% more than American taxes. But, you know, for the average Canadian that makes like $55K a year, and, you know, Canadians that make less than that, it is better to be Canadian because you don't have to pay those $8,000 per year healthcare costs. Unless you work for a place that, you know, in the States that covers that. But, you know, that really helps people in those that are at that economic standing. Obviously, if you make more money, it's probably, you know, financially, it's better for you to live in the States. But But there's some people, there's a lot of Canadians who like to take the moral high ground. And they're just like, and then some of them talk about like the how Canadians were during the Geneva, like breaking the Geneva Conventions during World War II, and like how we could handle the United States. No, we couldn't. Like both sides have ridiculous stuff, and then the American side that's ridiculous are the Americans that believe that Canada gets subsidized by America. We don't. It's a trade deficit. We pay. There's a trade deficit going on, but we give commodities to the United States, like potash, oil, natural gas, lumber, aluminum, steel, like a bunch of stuff. Canada's economy is a lot like Russia's. We have, we're a commodity-based economy. I pulled more. We can handle it. We don't get disarmed too much. But yeah, we're commodity based, and you guys got 10 times the people. Your economy's 10 times bigger than ours. Might have to do something here. We'll be okay. Gotta make sure he doesn't blow me up. We use health pot. I think we'll be all right. I'm gonna use it, just being safe. But yeah, America's got the biggest consumer base in the world. That's why everybody's biggest trading partner is usually the United States, especially for Canada. So yeah, we have a trade deficit. Canada doesn't get subsidized by the United States. It's a lie. I don't know why Trump keeps saying it, but I guess if you keep saying a lie over and over again, eventually it becomes true to people. And that's kind of annoying. And then there's also Americans who believe Canada's just going to fall apart because of these tariffs. No, it's not. Or without America, Canada falls apart. That's not true. And a perfect example of that, look at Russia. How's Russia doing? They're getting sanctioned by the entire Western world. And they're doing all right. They're surviving. They've been getting sanctioned for close to 5 years now. And Canada has more oil than Russia. Canada has more water, fresh water than Russia, more potash. And we have less people. So and we're not going to be getting sanctioned. So Canada's going to be able to survive. It's just quality of life's going to go down for Canadians a little bit. Which kind of sucks. But Canada's not going to roll over. So yeah, it's an interesting time. I see what Trump's ambition, even though it sounds like sort of like a pipe dream. Okay, good. So if he pulls off the, no one pays taxes under $150,000. Yeah, that's amazing. After that, if that gets pulled off, then yeah, quality of life compared to from a Canadian to an American, it's better for every American has a better quality of life than a Canadian at that point. But that's just not the case right now. And I think that's why he wants Canada and Greenland to join the United States, because that actually makes that dream a little bit more viable. Actually possible, maybe. Now, do I believe it can happen? I don't know. I don't think so. But if Canada and Greenland joined the United States, you know, Canada would be like America could isolate even harder than it already is. America can already isolate pretty damn well from everybody else, but with Canada as well and Greenland, America can completely isolate itself from the rest of the world. I guess the dream is to charge tariffs to everybody else. Everybody else pays. Every other country pays off America's debt, and then then Americans don't get taxed. I think that's kind of how I look at it. And if you look at Canada as, compared to like states in the United States, Canada would rank, like GDP wise, Canada would rank, I'd say like second or third. They're pretty much around the same as Texas, GDP wise. And Canada isn't really pumping, they're not drill baby drill. Like Canada here, we're reserving our resources. Now Canada could really pump the economy and focus completely economically and then pump oil like crazy, but they don't. And I think if Canada did that and then they had the United States, investments and backing infrastructure, then yeah, Canada would probably be the best, like the state that produces the most GDP. It would surpass California, which is at like 3-something trillion. I think Canada would probably shoot up to like 5 trillion. And then there's also the Northwest Passage that is going to become the world's most coveted trade route that goes through Canada, Canada's Arctic. Now that's argued, America probably wants it. Obviously, America wants a piece of that. And there's going to be a lot of money to be made there. And the reason why, because of climate change, freight ships, that carry freight, are now able to get through there. And it's just going to be the most coveted trade route in the world. And that's why Russia and China well, mostly Russia's interested in that up there. And Stephen Bannon, I heard, he used to be one of Trump's advisors back in like 2016. He calls Canada the prize of this century. This prize of the next 100 years. And yeah, it would be a prize for sure. Like obviously, the Canadian Arctic is what people want. It's untouched. Russia's interested in it. China's interested in it. And that's what, global affairs is all about. There isn't any friends or enemies in global affairs. It's only interests. And that's what Henry Kissinger said. And that's true. Every country they don't really have friends or enemies. It's just interests. So I think America's maybe America's just worried about maybe they're worried about staying as the number one, the global power, right? So things are changing. Who knows? I don't know what's going on. But the world has changed. That's for sure. Europe is now... Everyone's getting kind of woken up. Like, America's like waking up like Europe, saying like, hey, pick it up. Take care of yourself. Security-wise. Because America doesn't subsidize Europe either, I don't think. I'm pretty sure. Maybe some European... I don't know. I don't think so. They got the European Union, right? But security-wise, America has been taking care of the world with NATO and all that. Like, everybody admits that. And that's something Canada has been taking advantage of. Yeah, we don't... Canada... 2% is the contribution you have to make. Canada's at 1.5%. I think Canada is taking advantage of its geographic location with the United States. Because Canada knows if any foreign country attacked it, it would be not only protected by America, but by Europe as well, because of, the NATO agreement. But yeah, it's an interesting world, man. But Canada's going to have to pick it up too. And that's what these tariffs are pretty much all about. Just a wake-up call. America's got to, I guess, maybe focus on, I don't know, take this gamble on, tariffs. It might work, it might not. And I read this article about this former American president that Trump, I would say, kind of idolizes. His name was William McKinley. He's the 25th president of the United States. He was assassinated in, I believe, 1891. He's only president for 4 years. Got assassinated by this guy named, Leon or something. Got shot by a revolver under a handkerchief. And he pushed tariffs onto Canada, 38 to 50% tariffs onto Canada. And the reason why Trump he put 38 to 50% tariffs on Canada, Canadian nationalism goes up. They start, doing more business with the British, and it pushed, Canada into Britain's arms. It's sort of like what's going on now with Canada. Canada's getting kind of pushed into Europe's arms. And Europe and Canada are doing a little bit of business together, I guess. But yeah, so the tariffs didn't work out. Canada survived, right? But supposedly they helped the States. Maybe. I don't know if they did. But there's got to be a reason why he's doing it. See what happens. It's shaking up the stock market, that's for sure. Stock markets fell by 10%. And he actually wanted to name a mountain after this president. He wanted to call the Denali, the tallest peak in North America. I think it's in Alaska. He wanted to rename it Mount McKinley after him. So clearly Donald Trump has I guess he's he's a fan. He's a fan of McKinley, and maybe he's trying to do what he did. And it's kind of interesting how he got assassinated. Trump almost did. Kind of crazy. Yeah, history repeats itself. That's all I know. Right? But I think everything will be fine. At the end of the day. Just the world's changed. America doesn't want to be the world's security guard anymore. And that's fine, because nobody else is, right? But the comments about, Canada 51st state and we subsidize Canada, that's a bunch of baloney, man. So, that's what I think. It'll take a long, long time for Canada to roll over like that. I don't know. The only way I could see it, America would have to have a much better standard of living than Canada. Across the board. From the poorest American to the richest American. The standard of living would have to be better, especially for the average, American. And it's not that much of a difference with the average American to average Canadian. It's just, It's just like not having to pay for health, well, not having to pay like heavy for healthcare if you're, you know, the average, if you make this average income, is a plus. And now Canada's been able to do that, and most of the world is sort of because of, you know, American protection. But like, I think Canada's not really worried about any other country. Like, we're not really worried about Russia attacking us. Right? Like, we'll see what happens. I don't know. We're a part of NATO, right? But Canada does have to contribute a little bit more of its GDP to NATO. We've been kind of slacking on that. Well, we'll see what happens. We'll see. But yeah, that's my little rant about it. I won't probably talk about that stuff for a long time. I think I talked about it like a few months ago. But it's escalated. It's still going on. It's escalating a little too much. A French nuclear submarine on our coast. That's insane to me. That's ridiculous. Because I remember I was talking about that a couple months ago. Like, America won't attack Canada, but it won't. But like a French submarine being there now, that kind of like, it's weird. Because you know what that means, eh? Like, everybody knows. Like, if you attack Canada, we're here. We have a nuclear submarine waiting. Like, that's a weird thing to say. You know what I mean? Like, it's world's changed a lot. Like, you would never think of that happening like 5 years, even 10 years ago, even 20 years ago, or even 30 years ago. It's ridiculous. So yeah, that's why I wanted to talk about it. Because it is kind of wild. It's insane. But yeah, back to the games. We're doing all right here. We got Blood Scalp. A few more Blood Scalp Tusks, and we're done with that. And I heard a funny story about... so there's a place in Australia, a French... It's like a chip shop, French fry shop. It's called Lord of the Fries. And supposedly, the company that owns the IP of Lord of the Rings, Middle-earth Enterprises, is trying to shut down the fry shop because it infringes on the IP. Oh, wow, nice. Warlock hooked me up. It's water breathing. How ridiculous is that, man? That's so lame. Like, guys, it's a small little French fries chain. Give them a break. That's kind of like a Nintendo move, you know what I mean? Oh yeah, another thing I hear that kind of bugs me. We're going to get back to it for 1 second. Some people think like we had an election up in Canada. We didn't really have an election. So what happened is I hear some Americans like kind of chirp about it, like saying Canada like doesn't have democracy anymore. It's pretty much rage baiting, yeah. I assume a lot of this stuff's just rage bait. They're just trolling, but so what happened is like up here, our parliament system and government, it's more European style. So our prime minister stepped down. The incumbent that got elected for the Liberal Party is Mark Carney. So he's taken office as the incumbent. we have an election this year. So there's going to be a guaranteed election in October, I believe, October, November. But in Canada right now, there's two parties in a coalition, right? It's like we don't just have Republican and Democrat like in the States. We got like a bunch of parties, more European style. You know, we have the Green Party. We have the NDP. I consider them to be pretty much left leaning. The Liberal Party, which is in right now, center left. Conservatives, I consider them to be center right. And then there's some other parties like the PPC and a bunch of other small parties. And the NDP has a decent amount of votes and seats in Parliament, but the Liberals don't have a majority. So the Liberals and NDP formed a coalition, and that gives Liberals, you know, pretty much majority power over the Parliament. And that's why we haven't had an election in Canada yet. Now, if the NDP decided to break the coalition, then we would have an election, because the Liberals don't have, you know, majority. And that's how it is in European governments as well. Like, there's multiple parties get votes. Usually, if a party doesn't get the majority of seats in Parliament, then they have to form a coalition. You know, make some friends, get some allies, and then that forms majority. But we should have an election. We're going to have an election this year. I'll be shocked if we don't, but then then what's being said is valid. We're going to have elections. Ridiculous. Yeah, we're 100% having one. Yeah, it is kind of weird up here, but I kind of like the multiple party system. You know, it gives more opinions. You know, it's not just, you know, left and right. But the Canadian political climate is similar to the United States. It's pretty much split down the middle between the conservatives, which I guess are more like the Republicans, and oh man, we might be in trouble here, and the Liberals, which are more like the Democrats. And then they have the NDP, which is like, I'd say more like Bernie Sanders. That's what I would call the NDP, like Bernie Sanders style. Maybe. I don't know. But whatever. I don't know. But yeah, so yeah. I kind of like that, though. There's just more voices. But it's up and down, right? Because if there's more voices, which means it's hard to come to, like, it's hard to get things to happen because, you know, everyone's always disagreeing. But I kind of like I like it up. I like the style up here just because there's more funding and you get to hear more. It's just more. It's not just two parties. It's multiple. And I think it would be cool if there was like a third party in the United States. I wouldn't be surprised if that eventually happened. Like what would happen if Canada did join the United States? Like there would probably be there wouldn't just be two parties. Like maybe there another one would pop up. Who knows? And that would be so weird, man. Like, if Canada joined the United States, could a Canadian become president? Like, what the... You know what I... That's messed up. That would be so weird. But it's not happening anytime soon. I think there'll be like an economic union or a new economic union with Canada, U.S., but I'm not too sure what the government in the States is trying to do at the moment. I think it's just all talk right now until our election's over, and then they'll get down to business. But right now, Canada doesn't really have a leader at the moment. Like we do, but it's not official because our leader stepped down. So it kind of puts us in a tough spot, I guess, negotiation-wise. But we'll see what happens. Time will tell. Okay, so played a lot of trolls, guys. We still don't have enough tusks. We'll keep slaying them. You know, we're not quitting. Let's see if we pull extra here. You think we'll pull extra? Ah, crap. Here, take one. Take one, man. Take one. Okay, good. Nice. There you go. We can share. We can share. See that? We can share. That's nice. We have common interests. He's much higher. He's higher level than me too. Come on. But we're getting close to 39. I'm looking forward to that. I really want to get 40. That's when I'm going to feel somewhat safe. And I heard something weird. Like I was just like looking up history and stuff like that. In World War II, when Germany attacked, Poland, Russia joined in as well. And the funny thing is, people ask, like, why didn't France and Britain, attack Russia as well, right? And the reason why is because the treaty Poland made was to only defend against the Germans. So it didn't apply to Russia. I thought that was interesting. But I started looking into stuff like that because the world seems to, I don't think it's where we're there, but it kind of reminds me of that, man. Like those type of times. Just charge here? Oh, wait. Get a little couple ticks. I think we're safe here. Nice, we got some buffs from that druid. Really helps. Yeah, I hope no one gets, like, upset about what I said, but It's just a rant. It doesn't really matter what I say. You know what I mean? I'm just like, especially the hypotheticals of like, well, what could happen, you know, about the America attacking Canada. That's just like a hypothetical of what I think might happen because of, you know, and the reason why I'm thinking about it is because of like, you know, the submarine and that's on the coast in Canada right now, the nuclear submarine that France bought. Just a bunch of like hypotheticals. You don't really know what will happen, but one thing you do know in war, there's no winners, right? There's no winners, that's for sure. Only losers. The winners are the ones who avoid the war. Usually. That's what I believe. And like my stance, I don't want any war to happen. Like obviously, you know, I love Americans. I have a family in the United States, like most Canadians. So like, I have family down in Florida. Like I don't want anything to happen. You know, I love Americans. So, you know, don't get it twisted. And like, it's vice versa. A lot of Americans have family up in Canada, right? So it goes both ways, I think. Probably like the closest alliance ever on the face of the earth. And that's why it's strange. Why? What's going on, you know? Oh, did I get that? Or did he get it? He got it. Look at him. He's buffed. Rallying Cry, Dragon Slayer, Warchief's Blessing. And to be honest, like if the standard of living became better, I would not mind being American. Like, you know what I mean? But at the moment, since it's like if Canada's standard of living like down so bad, then, you know, obviously you'd want to be living in the States. If like you're not getting taxed on if you make less than 150K, like everybody would want to live there. There wouldn't be a person on this planet that would want to live in the States if that came to fruition. But at the moment, that's a pipe dream. We haven't got a tusk in so long. If I swear I've been smacking these like axe throwers forever. To be honest, I thought we were gonna go do the triage quest today, but that doesn't look like that's gonna be happening. Like we've slayed so many trolls. I think this one is pretty safe. Oh crap! I think we're good against Axe Thrower Shaman. Oh yeah, we are. We're good. Forgot to put the health pots on there. These health pots kind of suck. No, we can't be too confident about them. This guy's gonna enrage. Damn it. Give us a tusk. Oh my gosh. Just one. Just need two. Alright. We're gonna make some bandages. And I didn't want to. I wanted to save these for leveling up first aid, but it doesn't really matter. It's gonna level up regardless. Want to get a few here. There we go. I think we're okay. Pull them out though. Nice. You can actually outrange that AoE attack that the shaman does. I didn't know that. You didn't get hit by that. Nice. We got a greater healing pot. Take that. Oh. It's got a green here. We'll save it. 6 agi, 2 stam, 43 armor, leather wrists. Just keep it on the body for a little bit. Should I get rid of? Just want to fight something and eat. Can get rid of one of these pages, maybe. The vendor sell price is 3 silver, though. We'll fight a tiger. We'll waste some food. I don't think this tiger will do any damage to me. Just stay up for a while. Should we get rid of these are the troll sweat. It's pretty cheap. Yeah, these tusks are kind of brutal. I kind of sort of feel like maybe I shouldn't have turned the quest in. I think it would take us, 2 to 3 hours to farm all of these. But it is what it is. We're trying to get Whirlwind Axe. It's worth it. But they're not dropping anymore. We're not getting tusks. Wonder what's going on here. Well, I don't know. I guess we'll head back. We'll sell some junk. Our stuff's like... waiting for trolls to spawn. It is what it is, If they don't drop, they don't drop. We're pushing like an hour right now. Wish I could give him a buff. The servers seem pretty stable. Haven't had any issues. But there's a lot of death videos now, people in dungeons that have died. It's kind of sad, man. I know it's just a game, but people put a lot of time into these characters. And there's people on the other server still playing too that got affected by it. I didn't know there was still people playing on Defias Pillager, but they got like raid teams over there. Thought that was kind of cool to see. Defias Pillager was the first official hardcore server. Want these gloves? No. That's right. Staff. I was kind of holding on to this staff. I was thinking maybe we'd use it, check it out. Maybe we still will. I'll hold on to it. Other working stuff. Tiger meat. Don't really want that. Raptor meat will keep me. We'll make some more of that. That is about it, guys. But yeah, I don't really talk about this stuff too often, so if you're new to the channel, I'm not like Mr. Political World Events guy all the time. I usually talk about games and WoW and, like, you know, stuff that's relatable. But I just felt like talking about it. We live in interesting times right now, so it was I just thought it was an interesting topic, and I just wanted to get some things off my chest. And I hope everybody's doing well, staying safe. And as always, guys, thanks for watching. Keep your heads up. Later.